Recording.
Hey, everybody. It's Bigger T here from the Big C and Bigger T podcast. Just recording a little introduction here for our interview we have for this extra episode. We're dropping an extra episode this week. This young man that we're interviewing is a guy named Deion Holliman. I got to see this young man grow up. Call him a young man, call him a kid still, because I'm old, folks. I watched him grow up, and he's a young man that's faced some tough times. He's faced some trials. He's faced them. He's trying to make it in professional football, trying to get paid to play, and he's still working. He's the hardest working kid I think I ever saw, especially in high school. I mean, there was a time I pulled him aside one time. I said, man, you need to take a break. You need to go eat a donut, take a break or something. But no, I think you're going to be impressed by the young man that he is and what he has to say. So enjoy this podcast. We're going to be bringing you some more like this. We got some more interviews we're going to try to do here and there. But let us know what you think about it. Like and share in all the right places. Thank y'all.
1, 2, 3, 4. You've ever seen a lame man walk? Ever heard a dumb man talk? Never seen a blind man see? I promise you will change his life. You ever seen a cancer dead? Ever seen all the poor get fed? Ever seen a prisoner set free? I promise you will change his life.
What's up, everybody? It's time once again for the Big C and Bigger T podcast. Woo! Big, we got a great interview today, but first of all, with me as always, my right-hand man on my left-hand side, or at least that's the way I'm seeing him here on the Zoom machine. Big C, Clint Clark, how you doing, my friend?
Best day of my life.
Best day ever?
Yeah.
Wow. Man,
I can't back that one up, but it's been a good day. It's been a good day. Got your friend here. Can't wait to hear from him. And I'm excited about this. We're going to try our hands at interviewing folks. See how it goes. We probably felt at least we tried it, huh?
That's right. Well, we have a young man. I call him a young man because I'm old.
Yeah.
I watched him kind of grow up a little bit down here in Camden, but a guy that was one of my favorite football players to watch in high school, not only because he was pretty dang good, as my grandpa would say, but he was a good man, a good guy. And Clinton, he's way cooler than you and I.
He is.
He has a sneaker game. It's up there, Clint. His sneaker game is on point. You will never catch that man that is on the screen with us right now. The sneakers that don't match everything else he's wearing. If you do, something's wrong. There was a fire in his house and he had to run out.
Yeah, something going on.
Like he's leaving like everything else behind him. He's got his shoes coming out.
That's right.
Right. Everything else can go.
He probably has an escape bag just in case for that. Deion Holliman, former Camden Fairview Cardinal, former Missouri State Bear, former, what was that league called? Alliance of American Football, Arizona Hot Shot, XFL guy for a while. And now he's fixing to be in the draft for the USFL. Deion, welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me.
So what was y'all's logo for like the Arizona Hot Shots? Was it like a hot shot truck driver or was it a cattle prod?
No, it was you know how they had the like wildfires out there and stuff? It was like a fire department type logo with like some old school type stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But it was nothing, just the Hot Shots. It was just like the Hot Shots logo. I guess we actually never talked about that, but that's what it was.
I was being silly because first thing came to my mind when I've been shocked with a cattle prod before, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't encourage it. I don't encourage it. You'll remember it.
That's how experience kept him in line.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Well,
Deion, man. First of all, let's just start where it all began, man. Let's talk about what it was like for you growing up here in well, I say here, down in Camden.
Now that I'm older and I look back on like the way that I grew up, I'm very thankful for it because I've seen a lot of things as a young child that matured me mentally and really opened my eyes up to a lot of how like, the world is and how poverty is and how, because playing sports kind of saved me in the sense of I had a vision, and a lot of my friends, we all had a vision, but I was more so, I'm introverted, but I'm an extrovert depending on the surroundings, and I observe everything a lot. And one thing I did notice was that I had friends that were very wealthy, and I had a lot of friends that were, eating ramen noodles like I was. And it really made me be grateful for where I came from, and it made me realize that, certain things that are possible, or certain things that the lifestyle that I want to live and the lifestyle that I don't want to live. And it just made me look at the world kind of different in the sense of just where I am and where I can be. So it wasn't really a lot of opportunities coming up, but I had a lot of people that I looked up to. D'Anthony Curtis, which was being one of them. Another great guy from Camden that played for the Razorbacks. And I didn't know he was my cousin, like close cousin, until like my sophomore year in high school. And then we started training together. And then I would, he gave me a lot of advice on what to expect. He kind of showed me the way of how to, carry myself, and just hearing people talk about what type of person he was outside of just playing a sport kind of made me want to be that type of guy too. And just, I'm thankful for it all. And I wouldn't actually want to be nowhere else or grow up anywhere else. I'm perfectly fine with how everything planned out because, according to God, that's the whole plan anyway. So I don't really live with too many regrets of how things go. So.
And that's the thing, you always were, from what I saw, pretty mature minded person. And that's a mature way to think of it, because a lot of times we look back and we just
complain
on things, but there's lessons learned in those valleys.
Yeah, a lot of lessons I learned, and in those lessons you don't really look at it as a lesson at that time. You can sit and complain and wish things were different, but it takes a while to transform your thought process and be like, okay, this is teaching me something, Yeah. And I always had that mindset that, I can get through anything. And I just feel like that was a blessing from God, because now looking back on it, I really didn't complain about my circumstances. I just made the best out of it. And I was very thankful for that, because I was doing that naturally. And now that I see that I was actually doing that naturally, because I talk to a lot of people about things that they go through in their life. And I hear a lot of complaints. I hear a lot of regret. And I try to, be that type of guy to give advice on certain things and try to give a different perspective on, what they went through. Because one, you can't change it. You can only move forward. So that's kind of
and I think we have a similar natural mentality where you look at you find yourself in a bad situation, you always try to make the best of it. Yeah. And I think that's the proper way to handle things. There's a lot of people that they get in a bad situation, they're like, All right. They let it defeat them.
Yeah, and they think honestly everything starts in the mind, and you know, when a lot of people reach adversity, I see a lot of people think it's no way out, and that's where, you know, that's the life changing point. That's the life changing, you know, point for a lot of people, where they go through one of the toughest parts of their life, and they think they'll be in it forever, and then they trick their mind to think they'll be in it forever, and then they're actually stuck in that, and some people never get out of it, which is the sad part.
Where did you live in Camden?
Well, I grew up in
the apartments, or
I grew up in the project area, and then I moved with my grandmother when I was about 16, and I moved with my dad. So for like
what project
50,
area were you in?
It was called Carver Courts. It was
Clint Carver Courts is about 120 unit apartment.
Yes, low poverty.
Government subsidized.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize Camden has the largest housing authority, which is government subsidized housing in the per capita in the state of Arkansas. So probably, you know, I always tell people they say, what's the biggest industry in Camden? I say, well, in East Camden, it's the defense industry, Lockheed Martin, but in Camden, it's the poor.
Man, it sucks, man.
A lot of folks making money off the poor in that town.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, and poverty's different. Isn't it? I mean, it's different in South Arkansas compared to, I mean, you've been a lot of places now. I mean, there's pockets of it everywhere you go, but
and the thing,
a little different.
Yeah, it's different because it's a small town, so you may see 1 or 2 homeless people, you know, and I kind of feel like that's like good, because most of the people kind of try to help the homeless. Like most people that I know, you know, don't treat them like they're nothing other than to the cities that I'm in now. I see people just treat them like they're nobody, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not that type of person. I, you know, help when I can, or, you know, I don't try to think they're faking or think they don't need it. I just do it from the heart. But that's the big thing that I've seen from where I'm at now and where I grew up at. It's a lot of poverty, but it wasn't too many homeless. And I feel like, you know, the housing authority or whatever, however that stuff work, I don't really know what the requirements are, but I just know, you know, people have a place to live, but not a lot of money. So that's
the positive thing about it.
Yeah, that's a positive thing about it.
Now let's get to football. Okay. You, in 9th grade, you had to, if I remember right, you had to step in and play some quarterback, but you were normally a running back or receiver, and return guy normally.
Mm-hmm.
But in 9th grade, at the end of the season, you got moved up, and this is a tough part of the story, right? But you got moved up at the end of the year. Camden was on a playoff run, and y'all got to the finals against Greenwood at War Memorial Stadium. Greenwood is making it in the middle of a comeback, and Camden's still ahead. And Greenwood, of course, is kicking an onside kick, right?
So they kicked the onside kick before that and got it back too.
Right.
And then they scored off that, and then they kicked it to me, and they got that one back. But
you can tell us what happened on that kick.
So I was like, one thing that I heard through the whispers of the crowd, like he wasn't ready, he was nervous, he was scared. I was far from nervous. Yeah. And I wanted to make a play. The ball came in my area. I wanted to make that play. And unfortunately, the way the kick was set up was we leave the end man, the way the blocking scheme was set up, we leave the end man alone. And that was the guy that made the play. He hit me from the side. I didn't even see him. He hit me from the side. I fumbled. They recovered. They score. They win the game.
Kind of a sky kick, wasn't it?
It was a sky kick. Yeah, it was a sky kick. I don't know. I can't remember if they got the ball back and the game was over. Were we down at that point?
I think y'all.
We were down by 1.
They scored the winning touchdown off of that.
I think, it was either they scored. Either way, they got the ball back and we had no chance to win. Yeah. And that was probably just at that age, 16, 15. 16, 17. Yeah, I was 15. Yeah. And just at that age when I fumbled and just knew that cost us the game. That was one of the hardest parts of my life already, just being young and actually not being a part of the team the whole year. And just, man, I just remember I still can see like some of my teammates just looking at me like, what are you doing? You cost us the game. And then getting back on the bus, guys arguing, saying I shouldn't have been out there. And I was just in that fire, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And that really made me a man. That situation right there really made me just, take ownership of what I did and the mistake that I made, even though I know, if you know the game of football, that didn't cost us the whole game.
No.
That was the most pivotal point in the game, though. So it's easy to, put the blame on me. And I took that blame for a long time. And I remember, getting on the bus and I was crying. I was mad. And I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to do nothing. But I did tell Coach James, I apologized to him. I told him, like, man, I promise you I'm going to do whatever in my power to get us back and to win one. And I did that with my team, along with my teammates. But that really was the turning point of my work ethic. And I took special teams so serious, more than I think anybody. And I was one of the first guys to show up, one of the last guys to leave. I made sure that I worked harder than everybody on the field. I worked out at home. Even after games, I was come home and do push-ups, sit-ups. I was making sure that I was going to be one of the best guys that touched the field, any team we played.
Yeah.
And I honestly, personally, I always kind of was competitive, but that opened up another, like it just opened up something else in my mind to think, like, you got more in you. And I pushed myself to that limit literally every single day I did. It was not a day that I was at practice. And I can say this wholeheartedly. It was a day that I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be there every day. I wanted to make sure when I left that I would be remembered for better things than what I did. And honestly, if that didn't happen, I don't think I'd be where I'm at today.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't go through what I went through and the criticism that I went through, I don't think that it would have made me because I thought I was doing just enough. I was doing, like, up until ninth grade, I was making sure I was competing with everybody, but I was doing just enough to, be prepared. Yeah. But it was another level that made me a great high school football player. Yeah. And I think it stemmed from that mistake in my life.
Mm. And then, of course, fast forward in 2012, you get to the finals against Batesville, and
yep.
You were in that second half, especially. You were a key part of
yep.
coming back against them and winning that game.
Yeah, man, I couldn't wait. I actually couldn't wait to play. That was like this is my chance to show what I can do. And, I kept that promise to coach. Like, and he could tell you now, I remember I was outside. I was one of the last people to leave, and I apologized. I told him, I promise you, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, whatever. And when I got in that game, like, we was on the sideline certain times, like, coach asking, like, what you think we need to run? And I'm telling him, like, give me the ball in this play. Do this and do that. And they trusted me. I scored 2 touchdowns 2 times that they asked on what we should do and how they were playing. And I was just so locked into the game that I was going to do anything, to help our team win. And I did that. And, it felt good to get that redemption on what I did,
Now, you did get to play for Buck James, who's turned into, man, he's killing it at Bryant. Just,
one of the best, man. He's one of the best.
What was it? What made him such a good coach?
I'm gonna be honest. What made him such a good coach was he didn't care who you were on this field. He treated every player the same. And actually, he didn't treat everybody the same. He was harder on his best players than he were on his worst players. So I think that separated him from any coach that I've seen, even at the professional level, even at the collegiate level. His just attitude towards everybody in the facility, he had an expectation, no matter what position you were, no matter what you did Friday night, Monday, you're back at it, and he's not even talking about what you did last week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't praising, oh yeah, we did such. No, he was, tunnel vision on his main goal, and it shows because no matter what and where he goes, he wins, and I think that's why he wins.
Yeah.
Is because his ability to not look back, not show favoritism. He didn't show favoritism. I've never seen him show favoritism to anybody. And once your teammates and players see that you treat everybody the same and you have the same expectation for even the best, I think that makes them buy in because they feel the same value to that team, other than just like, coach only like him, so it don't matter what I do. Yeah. We knew that it took all 96 or how many ever it was. It took everybody. Yeah. From the scout team, from the trainers to the water boys. It took everybody to win that state championship, even if they touch the field or not. Everything flows together in the football program, and some of the greats, they know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Deion, I looked. I don't do a lot of research because, let's just be honest, I'm lazy. That's why I was the finest third string center in the history of the Gulf South Conference. But anyway, when I looked you up, it said, everything I just talked about, you're an elite level punt returner. What do you think makes you a great punt returner? Because I played with an All-American punt returner at Arkansas Tech, Stu Cash. And, he told me a couple things that I didn't pay attention to, but I'm going to pay attention to you. What made you a great punt returner?
Man, I'm going to be honest. It was more of my mindset. And like tying back into my story, just being a kick returner. And when I fumbled that one time, I made sure that anytime I was on special teams that I could change the game. So it took my mental to another level when it came to punt return, kick return. And I think the biggest thing that separates punt returners is some guys just mindset is just catch the ball, because it's a hard play. It is. You got 20, you actually have 20 to 21 guys running down at you. Right. And you're to catch the ball. But it's a love that you have to have for it. Like, you have to actually truly love that position and tell yourself that I can change the game at any point. So that makes you I know a few guys I play with, and they just I just want to make sure I catch the ball. But me, I'm from practice to the game. I'm practicing like I'm at the game. Anytime I touch the ball on kick return or punt return, if I ran it all the way to the touchdown from high school to now, anytime I caught it, and at that point, it didn't matter if everybody had to wait on me to come all the way back. I made sure that I was in shape to run 100 yards and to run back 100 yards and to run 100 yards again, just for those plays. And that's how I broke records. That's how I, stayed on teams to be a primary return guy, because my ability to be in shape, and the fact that I love it so much that I know that I can change the game at any given point I think that's what separates a lot of guys, because I'm willing to take a chance. I'm willing to take a chance if that one guy was running free and I catch it and I make him miss, because that may be the only guy that I had to make miss. But if I catch that fair catch, everybody else, I go back and look on tape and everybody else is blocked, and I just could have made that one guy miss. Now I'm sitting here thinking about, man, that was another touchdown I left out there. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, you just really have to have a true passion and love for a returner to think that you can do it, not that you're back there not to mess up. And I think that's what makes me a good returner.
No, And one thing you did say that really, because I was talking to Travis about Stu on the way here, and I said, I saw there was 2 or 3 games in our college careers that Stu took over the game. He changed the game. We were playing a team that wasn't as good as us at West Alabama the year that we won the conference. And Stu, I think, returned at least 2 punt returns to the house in a game we were struggling in. Changed the game. I mean, that's an area, and you don't see it as much anymore. I think Perotti had like the first punt return touchdown in forever this year.
Arkansas, yeah.
Yeah, good for Arkansas.
Also, and like y'all are saying, not only does it help with points and yardage, but if you're a returner like you are, Deion, they're going to probably try to kick away from you, and so that means they're not going to kick it as far. They're not going to kick, So you're changing yardage without even touching the ball, just without even touching the ball. Who's proven that you take it seriously and that
So how did this feel when someone kicks away from you? Are you just like, you coward, chicken?
Yeah. Have you ever talked trash to somebody for kicking away from you?
That's the one thing that I actually tell a lot of people a lot is I've never talked trash on the football field.
Yeah.
Like I just know how that game is, man. And I try to stay so even keel on the field because anything can happen. And I don't want it to happen to me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stay humble. I'm gonna work hard. When my number's called, I'm gonna make a play and I'm gonna line back up and I'm gonna make the next play. And to each their own. Like some guys get fueled off of, talking trash and I'm not that guy. I've tried to be that guy. I'm not that guy. I'd rather
talk trash. Need help with it. Call my buddy Clint up. We used to play semi-pro in Little Rock, and one time we got up to the line, and we were on the goal line, and he said he looked at the defensive guys on the right hand side. I was playing right tackle, I think, and he said, "Hey, we're about to run the ball behind my fat friend's butt right over here." That was what we were about to do. I was like, "Oh, you jerk." And
well, in all due defense, I just got done playing college football, and these guys, they hadn't played in a few years. It wasn't very fair.
Gonna score.
The next year I'd gotten fat. I'd been out of college football. It was totally fair then.
One of my favorite though is one time it was I think it had just been announced that Britney Spears was coming to Little Rock for a concert or something. And we go up to the line. He goes, "Hey guys, did y'all know Britney Spears is coming to Little Rock next month? I got my tickets. 99, you got yours, don't you?"
He goes, "Yeah, I sure do."
Yeah, I literally I enjoy people that make the game fun for sure. Though I'm not against it. I just know when I'm lined up and I do something good, I'm fine with that. I don't need you. Everybody saw it. I don't need you saw it. You saw it. So I don't need to tell you how good it looks.
That's right. Yeah.
Now you played college football higher level than me, of course. Who had the best student section that you experienced at Missouri State? Because we played Northwest Missouri State. They had won the Division II national championship, and their student section had me just rolling. I was dying out there. I had to sit for the entire game. I'm standing over the sidelines. I want to be entertained.
The best student section that I could say is it was a non-conference team. It was Northwestern out in Louisiana, Northwestern.
Yeah. Oh, in Natchitoches?
They purple, I think so.
Yeah, the Demons, Purple Demons, something like that. Yeah. Now, Coach Mullins was our head coach. He was their offensive coordinator before he came to Tech. So,
and my friend Patrick's their radio voice.
They were the and the thing was they were so close to us. Like that made it, man. They didn't stop from the time we were warming up to the time. Like they had a few coaches laughing. That's how funny they were. And I never forget that because I was a freshman, and in high school you don't hear none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's far away from the field. And I'm in college, man. They just roasting every player. I'm talking every single player. They had pictures of guys. Man, it was crazy. I'm like, man, this is what college football is like. I just had to like, you know, tune it out because it was actually hilarious. It was comedy, and I was like, yeah, this is the craziest stuff I had experienced. But
Yeah,
we beat
our backup quarterbacks, they're over there in their ball caps, and they were like, did they not afford you a helmet? Is that what?
Yeah.
hilarious. And I was telling about Stu Cash, the All-American punt returner earlier. They were on him as soon as he walked out of the dressing room. They were Stu. It was good fun. Now you played what all profession? I know you played in the AAF.
Yep, AAF and the XFL.
And the XFL. What was this? Because I've always said for me, the speed of the game was harder from junior high to high school to me.
Yes.
But than it was from high school to college. What's the speed of the game and the intensity level going up that level to the XFL from college? What's that like?
So it's, to me personally, everything, it is faster because I don't know how to explain it, because like I wouldn't say guys are like, everybody's not faster. It's just like everything happens faster. I don't know. It's weird like to explain, but like everything is just quick. Like what's faster is the plays, the amount of plays you have to learn in a certain amount of time. That's intense. You may learn 5 plays in a meeting, and then you got practice in 1 hour, and they expect you to know it. Like literally, they expect you to know exactly what to do on all 5 of those plays at any given moment. And you like, and that is the part of the game that changes the speed.
Right.
Because if you know what you're doing, you're able to play faster. So it's more so the knowledge of everything. It's because a lot of guys, if you know what you're doing, if you know the game, know what to expect, you can move to your zones faster. You can move to, everything. But other than that, like, practice is really more technique other than physical, because after that point, it's about longevity. We try to keep guys injury free. Coach just wants you to play fast and be efficient, and know where you're at. And then when you come to the game, that's when you're a grown man. You need to be physical. They don't have to, But that's that's the speed of the game part. Is like, for me personally, is knowing everything, because I'm able to play at my full speed, other than not knowing. So, guys are strong and fast, but not too much faster than you are in college.
Now, you got noticed by the AAF in kind of a different way. Tell about that a little bit, because it was a viral video, right?
Yep. So after college, well, see, I had fumbled in high school, made up for it, but taking special teams so serious, I had broke every single record in the conference and in our school history for return yards. And that kind of helped me out a lot, but it didn't get me the NFL attention I wanted, because I broke my foot my senior night. And I thought I would be good. This was in late November, and I had surgery in December, and my pro day was in March, so like 12 weeks later. And I thought I was going to be good. And I had surgery, and it was kind of a slower process than I thought. And after I had surgery, I couldn't really train like I wanted to. And so I was more so just like thinking I was going to be okay for my pro day. And I went to my pro day, and I did pretty good testing wise. I did. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I did pretty good testing wise, but I didn't run as fast as I normally was. I think I ran like 4.5 on my, like 4.52 or something on my pro day. And I'm normally low 4.4s. And after that, I went back to the doctor and I checked my foot, and it was still broken. And so that was a hard thing for me, because I didn't hear from any coaches for a couple of months. And then I was like, had a few dollars, and I was just like, you know what, I need some money. I got to start working, because I'm sitting around waiting on this NFL, and it ain't happening. So I started working a construction job, waking up 5 a.m, working for 11 hours, just then going to the gym, then wake like at around 8 o'clock to 10, got to wake right back up at 5, doing that 5 days a week, sometimes 6. And it was just exhausting. But I was like, I love the game so much that I was just like, I'm willing to do whatever. And then I went to this random gym one night and after work, and I was, I did a little upper body session. And I was almost done, and I was like, I need to do something else. So I started doing box jumps, and I was doing box jumps, and this guy asked to record me, and I told him no. And at that point, I was at one of the lowest points in my life, I feel like, because I'm like, man, I had these expectations for myself. My family had these expectations, people that support me, steady reaching out. Man, what's up with the NFL? I knew you going. And I mean, I wouldn't respond to people. I'm like, man, I don't feel like explaining to you what happened if you don't understand, and just being a good athlete, everybody thinks you're supposed to automatically be professional. And it's so much that goes into it that people have no idea. Like, you could be the best player in the world and something just don't go your way, Yeah. And so I was working extra, I was doing the box jumps, and then the guy asked to record me. And just being so low in my life at that point, I was like so disconnected from people. And I just didn't really want to be seen. I didn't want to talk to anybody. And now that I'm more mature about it, it wasn't that serious. I just was like, in a low part. And I was just like, nah, I don't want nobody to see me on video. Like, I'm fine, And he was like, nah, man, just let me do it, man. People in my gym try to jump on these boxes all the time, and they just can't. It was like 50 inches maybe. And my other friend was there, and he was like, man, just let them record it, And I was like, all right. So we stacked some weights on top of a box, and I just jumped on it easy. And it was like, man, we need to keep going. So we kept going, and it got to like 65 inches, and I jumped on
stop
it.
you right there. Now, this is box jump, so you're just jumping from flat foot, straight up, and landing on top.
Yeah.
I saw that on your Twitter today. It was impressive.
Yeah. 65 inches. Hey, Clint, at our best, how many pieces of paper could you get under our jumps?
I'm not going to lie. Because they had, at Tech, they had us, they do the thing where you have to jump up and you have to slap the things. Yeah. I think I might have. And now this has been a couple years ago. I graduated college in 1999. So
I was 4 years old.
No one asked you. Anyway, I think I got like, respect your elders. I think I got like 25 inches. I wanted to say 30, but I don't feel good about that. I feel like I lied on purpose if I said 30.
Right.
30, whatever it was not very high.
I think I could jump on top of 60 pieces of paper.
But yeah,
that's what I can't tell. All right. So anyway, go ahead. The guy videos 65.
Yeah, 65 inches, and I jumped on it fairly kind of easy, to be honest. And he sent it to me, and I'm telling you, I was disconnected from social media, man. I was just, and then one day I just had it in my phone, and I was just looking at my videos and stuff. Then I looked at it, I was like, man, this actually kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was like, this is kind of crazy. So I put it on my Instagram story, and people were swiping up on my story, like, man, what? This is crazy. I can't believe you did this. This looks fake. And I was like, man, I need to put this on my page. Yeah. So I deleted it from my story, put it on my page. So many people come in, so many people was reposting it. And Bleacher Report, it got to Bleacher Report, and they messaged me the next morning or that night. I think it was the next morning. It was like, hey, can we use your video? And I was like, yeah, why not? So they used it. And later that evening, the AAF, Alliance of American Football, called me and was like, called one of my coaches and asked him why I wasn't playing. And he was like, well, I think he's still training, but you know, he went through some stuff, and you know, but so they called me, gave me their number, and I reached out to him, and they told me, you know, about a tryout and stuff like that. So I probably had like maybe a couple thousand in my, maybe 1,000 in my bank account, to be honest. And I had spent like half of it to go try out, and it was like maybe 60 plus guys out there. And I go out there, right, and all these guys are literally former NFL players. Like they wearing their Cowboys uniform, like t-shirts, training shirts, Arizona Cardinal stuff. And I'm like, man, this is about to be a tough tryout. Like, but honestly, I was the first person at the field. It was nobody was at the field, not even the people that was hosting the tryout. It's the first person at the field. And I started warming up, just getting my mind right, getting the feel for everything. Then guys start showing up, and then it was, I met the, you know, GM and all that, and they saw me out there first or whatever. And I had an excellent count. I didn't drop one ball, and you know, drop one punt, and I did great. And then they called me probably like that next Monday, and they signed me, and I went to training camp, and then they released me from training camp, and I did pretty good at training camp. I did great at training camp. And but they had all these guys. There was literally 52 guys out there, and 48 of them was former NFL players. So I'm playing with all these guys that literally just left practice squad or left active roster, got released. You know, all these guys, I know these guys. I'm literally watching these guys on TV on play on Sunday, and I'm like, that's you know, such and such. I'm like, no way. And I'm just out here and really just being a student of the game and just being a humble guy. I'm actually asking all these guys questions, asking everything about everything, literally, because all this is new to me. I'm like, yo, what's this like? What they do on this? Like, what, you know? And I did that, and it was a great thing. After I got released, I came home, and I was like, this very disappointed. And that was my eye opener to the business of professional sports. Like, you can get sent home any day, and it doesn't, like, you can do great and get sent home.
Yeah.
Because they trying to make room for another guy, or they need a linebacker, and you got 7 receivers. So they're like, okay, we're just going to use 6 receivers. And, you know, we can send Deion home, you know.
Who was that number one receiver they had?
In Arizona?
Yeah.
Rashad Ross. His name was Rashad Ross. He was with the Redskins. He played at Arizona State.
They threw to him like every play.
Every play. And then he
I would watch the games. I'd be like, man, throw to somebody else. Deion's over.
Hey, every single play. And then the play, literally, he got hurt. I was playing behind him. He got hurt. I came in the next play and scored a touchdown the next play, because all the plays were designed for him.
Yeah.
So I came right in and scored a touchdown. And it was John Walford, man. He just won the Super Bowl. I remember. I came in, and he didn't even know he was the backup quarterback for the Rams. He's actually very, very good. And he played at Wake Forest. And I came in, and it was an audible. He called an audible we're in the huddle. He looked at the defense they were in. He was like, hey guys, change the play. We're gonna run this. And then he was like, who's my slot right here? And like, he like looked kind of shocked because I was in the game, because you know they used me strictly for kick return and punt return. So, and but he knew I was capable of, you know, playing. And he looked at me and he was like, I'm throwing it to you. Like, he was like, I'm throwing it to the slot right behind the linebacker. And I was like, all right, like, let's go. And it happened literally just how he drew it up, just how he spoke about it. And I scored a touchdown, and that was a great feeling. Just, you know, being able to come in behind that guy and play with those type of guys. And now I see John on TV just winning the Super Bowl, and I'm just like, man, I played with him. Yeah. I can be there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just everybody's journey is different.
I made him look good for that play, baby.
Right. Because
I think he owes you some money.
Right. But yeah, man, it was, man, the whole experience with that stuff was very good, because I'm really thankful that that my journey is going how it's going, because I've connected with some guys that I like, lifelong friends that, make a difference in my life today, that can help me along the way of my career with anything. I know guys that's in real estate. I know guys that, got their own, businesses. It's just so much more further into the game. Other than if I would have went straight to the NFL, I probably wouldn't have the mindset I have now of networking and, building true relationships with people, other than thinking, oh, I'm in the NFL, I don't need nobody, I can be my own person. It just changed my whole perspective on life. Just like, I'm just thankful for it all.
Me and Travis talk a lot. Is football it's part of making me who I am.
Right.
Travis feels the same way, and it's obviously a big part of your life, and it's made you who you are. I've been the guy that's, we won the Gulf South Conference. I'm also the guy that the second team was driving to beat the first team in the spring scrimmage right before the season, and then I snapped it over the quarterback's head. It sucks, but but it's like you said, your ninth grade incident is you have to live with it.
You have to.
You have to live with it. And, you had the right guard was mad at me. The left guard was mad because we were literally about to upset the first team. Mm-hmm. And then I snapped it over Shane Savoy's head.
Well, Deion, of course, the AAF, to kind of finish your story here, the AAF folded.
Yep.
That ended up, going bankrupt or whatever. You went to the XFL, to the Washington Defenders, and you had more injury problems there, right, with your hamstring.
Yep.
And are you still considered under contract with the XFL?
So no, everything is the XFL just partnered with the NFL today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, they partnered doing some partnership stuff with them today, but that's not until another year. So I'm not going another year without playing football. I don't want to sit out another year because from my, understanding after COVID, after our league shut down, that we would be back in 2022. Like they renamed everything XFL 2022, blah, blah, blah. And then come 2022, they changed it to 2023. So I'm like, okay, I could wait a year, I could train and, wait a year. And then they come with the 2023 stuff. And I'm like, man, that's too long not to be active. You know what I'm saying? Like playing. So it kind of bothered me, but the USFL came up and I reached out to some guys, and some guys, reached out to me and asked me if I was still playing. So that it's these startup leagues are truly a blessing from God, for real. Yeah. Because think about how many guys before me that did make, and it was either NFL or nothing. Like it was either NFL or CFL or nothing. And these are like every other major professional sport has a feeder league, has a, baseball, basketball, G League, minor league. Like every other major sport has another alleyway to stay professional and to be recognized as a professional athlete, except for the NFL.
That's right.
And I think these startup leagues are huge.
Yeah. They are. And then what people don't know, they have a lot of a lot of push behind them. Like even in Washington, D.C., we would sell out the stadium. It would be 25,000+ people at our game. St. Louis had 40,000 people at their stadiums. And that's ticket sales, that's revenue, that is fan support, that is stuff that is phenomenal for a first year league. Yeah. And TV contracts and all that stuff. So
now if I'm reading right, what I'm reading about the USFL, it's gonna be 8 teams.
Yep.
And they're gonna play all the games in Birmingham, Alabama.
And the reason, and the reason I think it's good in the sense of it saves so much money
for travel.
Because when I was in the AAF and the XFL, we would have to fly to these different states, stay in hotels, and that adds up. Other than if you got everybody in the same town, and you just drive to the games.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. And they did that and that's like how the spring league was in Houston. Like the spring league was another little alleyway to, get a NFL opportunity. And like these scouts actually watch these people, like these games.
Yeah.
Like even after I left the AAF, it was 400 players in the AAF. 100 of them signed contracts after the season. That's 1/4. That's 25% of players that played there that wouldn't have had a job or wouldn't have even got looked at if they were just sitting at home.
Yeah.
So the startup leagues are actually great.
Yeah. Well, and so the draft is when? February
26th, tomorrow, and the 23rd.
Okay.
So
good luck, my man.
Yeah, they having a draft tomorrow, and then it's like so they draft by position. They don't draft by like just random.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? They don't do just, we want this quarterback and this lineman. They do all quarterbacks first, all linemen, all receivers, all running backs. It's like on different days.
Gotcha.
So that's how it's gonna go. So I'm just, waiting to see if I get picked up or whatnot. And it's just up in the air for everybody, because it's kind of like they just out of nowhere, just like, okay, we just gonna draft people, and just show up and be ready, because it wasn't a combine. The XFL literally had a combine. Like before I went to the XFL, they literally had a combine. So and I did great at the combine, and that's how I got picked up there.
Well, man, one more story, Clint, I got to tell about Deion.
Cool.
That before we go here, when Deion was in high school, I did a Bible study with the football team on Thursdays on short day, and we'd be in the locker room in the film room, and there'd be a handful of us in there. Well, there was this one guy, I forget his name. He was a young guy. He ended up. He never got to play. He left. He ended up moving or something after this, but not because of this. But we were going to pray at the end of it, and he said he wanted to pray, right? And so, and anytime these guys, the football team prayed, they held hands, right? So Deion's right next to him. In his prayer, the kid goes, he just got tongue-tied. He said, "And Lord, help us to play 10% of our ability." He meant to say 110%, but he said 10%. Well, Deion couldn't take it, and he started laughing.
Right. Oh my God.
And then the guy started praying on Deion. He said, and be with my brother here who is not taking this seriously or something like God.
Yes, bro. Yes, I remember that. He was like, "Yeah, be with my brother Deion since he not taking this serious." Bro, I could not, bro. I could not hold that in, like, for
I would
nothing.
have a hard time myself.
Bro, and he started praying to me, because I'm like, yo, you can't get mad at me because you said something crazy.
That's right. Help us to give 10%. Anyway, dude, that was so funny. And I'm trying.
And I started laughing, and he want to start praying on me.
Hey, Deion, you want to plug your social media stuff real quick? I know you got a Twitter.
Yeah. My Twitter is D Holliman 5, and so is my Instagram. I post some of my workouts and stuff on there. Just keep people updated with my life and what I'm doing. And I appreciate everybody that supports me, and I'm willing to give advice to anybody that needs it. I respond. I look at all my messages. I talk to anybody that wants to talk to me. I'm not that type of guy to where I just ignore everybody. I've never been that type. So if you want to follow me, reach out, want any advice, inspiration, or anything, I'm willing to share that with anybody.
Well, Deion, man, appreciate you being on here with us. Proud
no problem, man. Anytime, man. Anytime. I'm sure something else will happen in my career and we can get back on and we can talk about that as well. During the season, if I got a free day, if you want to have me back on, I'm willing to do that. I like doing this stuff.
Cool, man.
Deion, thank you so much. I enjoyed.
Don't jump off here when we let go, and I want to talk to you a second before. But we're going to close off the show now. So, Deion, appreciate you. Proud of you. Praying for you that this USFL deal goes well. You have always been a hard worker, and I know you're going to continue to work hard as we see your lights there. And man, have a good one, Clint. Appreciate you, man. We are out. Thank you, Deion. It's been a good one.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Oh, I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Sun beating down so hard, I can barely breathe. Hard to sing